Hi, I'm Steve Paserb. Welcome to Toy Trends, always a highlight of Toy Fair New York. Now, normally we'd be together in the middle of a standing room only crowd in the Javits Center. But rest assured, our team has stayed on top of trends, both what's new and what's going to be hot. We also had the ability to display more than 33,000 products during Toy Fair Everywhere, and we continue our retailer private previews. So we've got a good handle on what's coming for 2021. Also, remember, we will be together soon. Toy Fair Dallas is on the calendar for October 5th through 7th. And then in 2022, back to New York and Javits Center for Toy Fair New York, February 19th through the 22nd. Now, as for our industry, you saw the news. 2020 toy sales up some 16% to $25.1 billion, $3.5 billion of gross. When you look at the whole industry, if 78% of it is in the NPD study, we're probably somewhere around $30 billion for the year. But it's also important to remember 2020 was a dramatically uneven year. Big players, big brands, hot brands, those who are well positioned in e-commerce or in mass market had an incredible year. Some categories were incredible this past year. But look at the other side of it. Some companies who sell at travel destinations or at theme parks or museum shops, portions of the specialty sector, those who depend on impulse buys, they had big headwinds in the last year. Also, some categories were way down. So we think those two trends are going to continue for a while into 2021. Big successes and big challenges. But we're, as a toy association, we're really focused on those who are struggling and helping them. Also, I think it's important to remember we're not going to match the comps of March, April, and May of 2020. So it'll be important to look at both 2021, 2020, and 2019 to get a good read on the health of the industry. Also, we really know that America is desperate to get out, to get away, and that's going to begin to happen as we go through the year. Vacations, concerts, experiences, travel that have been put off are going to go back in place, and they're going to eat in a little bit to the toy industry. But one thing we can always remember is North America is still the largest toy market in the world, and North America's spend per child is still the highest in the world. So we're going to carry some strengths into the new year, including the fact that today's parent really does appreciate the role of play in their kids' lives, both to their developmental standpoint and to keep them healthy and happy. So we bring those strengths into the year, and you're going to hear a lot about that as we get into trends, but they also can't be taken for granted. It's going to take a new level of inventiveness and creativity and product innovation to capture consumer attention. Retail is going to need to continue to innovate and almost reimagine itself, and e-commerce is going to continue to be a dominant force. Suffice it to say, the entirety of the toy business is up for reinvention as we go forward. But one thing we know for sure, the people of the toy industry have always found a way to triumph. So that brings us to trends. And there's really no better place to dig into trends than to turn the presentation over to Julie Lynette. You guys know Julie as the face of the toy industry through the NPD Group. Her data, the data that they all put together, hugely important. It brings, vital information to our industry. Their interpretation of it makes it valuable. And people like Julie and all behind her really bring it to life. And they're such a special part of our industry. So we're thankful for Julie's participation, for your voice and all you do. And now it's time to turn this over to Julie Lynette.
Thank you, Steve, and the Toy Association for having me here today. Welcome, everyone. My name is Julie Lynette, and I'm the U.S. Toys Industry Advisor at NPD. I'm here today to provide you with a brief overview of the 2020 performance and what to look for in 2021. Before I begin, this presentation is being shared exclusively with members and may not be shared without NPD's consent. So let's jump right in with 2020 results, starting with a global view. As you may know, NPD tracks POS sales in 13 countries. Combined, these countries grew 10%, a gain of $5.2 billion to $57 billion. Notice that units were down, so the growth was due to an increase in the average selling price, which was up 13%. This increase in average selling price was not linked to price increases. It reflects a different mix of products bought by consumers. This shift in the product mix to higher price categories was a driver of growth in the US market as well. The US market performed even better. Dollar sales were up 16.1%, a gain of $3.5 billion to $25.1 billion in sales in 2020. Unit sales were flat, and the average selling price of $11.95 was up 16.4%. The growth in 2020 comes after declines in 2019, which was the first full year without Toys R Us in the US market. One clarification here. The $25.1 billion in sales comes from our retail tracking service, where we capture about 78% of the total POS from retailers. Our consumer data, which is projected to 100% of the market, is reflecting that dollar sales were $32.6 billion for the US toy market in 2020. I'm not going to go into the details due to time, but you can go to the Toy Association website and they will have a table of trends by super category. For all the other data inquiries, I'll share some contact information with you later. Some of you may have seen this chart already. It was in our recent press release announcing 2020 sales performance. I'm sure many of you looked at these slower growth trends in Q4 and leaped to the assumption that this was the end of the strong growth for the US toy industry. But that was not the case. Our preliminary January data has toy sales up 41%, the highest percent change we've seen since the beginning of this crisis. What changed? Well, higher than usual gift cards sold at holiday, which we predicted, and a new stimulus check. So let's talk more about the drivers of growth. When COVID hit, the stage was set for the toy industry to thrive. With schools, movie theaters, theme parks, and everything fun closed, consumers took some of the money earmarked for experiences and bought toys to fill their kids' time and need for fun. But the US market had some dynamics that other countries didn't necessarily have that propelled it to stronger growth. First, the $2.2 trillion CARE Act that was signed into law at the end of March introduced $300 billion in one-time cash payments to some families, as well as $260 billion in increased unemployment benefits. That's over $500 billion that flowed into the US economy between March and August. In the US market, we also had a well-developed omni-channel prior to the start of the pandemic. In some regions of the world, the omni-channel was not well developed, and in those countries, the toy industry suffered. There's no question that the omni-channel contributed to the growth in the US. While the in-store channel still grew 6%, the online channel grew 52%. The online channel represented 35% market share in 2020, up 8 share points. Next, we brought new buyers into the toy ecosystem in 2020, about 10.4 million new buyers overall. Some individual categories saw even more new buyers to the category, as some existing toy buyers bought into new toy categories in 2020. Games and puzzles, for example, had 22.4 million new buyers compared to last year, leading it to being the fastest growing super category of the year, up 32%. And finally, the fastest dollar growth among age groups came from kidults ages 12 plus. Kidults grew 43% in the US and performed well globally. While 2020 was unprecedented, 2021 could undergo a complete metamorphosis. In 2021, it will be essential to watch for the early indicators that could signal this transformation. First, it's been very clear to see that the stimulus payments have been a boon for the toy industry when we see the largest jumps coming in the immediate weeks following these payments. If there's more stimulus to come, which seems very likely, we will see another jolt to the toy industry just in time for Easter shopping for toys. However, we also need to be cognizant that there are other factors to watch, like unemployment, as well as the eviction protection plan, which, if not extended beyond March 31st, will put 19 million people at risk for homelessness. Another shift to pay close attention to is the channel shift. As we start to see growth slow in the online channel, it will likely change the dynamics of the growth in the toy industry. This channel shift could be an early indicator to help us understand the near-term trajectory of the toy industry and help you make decisions accordingly. One of the most important early indicators is kids going back to the classroom. According to Burbio, a company that is tracking these K through 12 trends, as of the last week of January, over 53% of children in grades K through 5, our core toy audience, were virtually attending school either 100% or partially, over 50%. But this number is shrinking each week as more younger children are going back to the classroom. This indicator will be important to watch, especially by region, so you can understand where you want to focus your efforts and inventory for peak performance. And tied to the classroom, some schools are talking about lengthening the school day and boosting summertime instruction, as McKinsey has reported that students could lose on average 5 to 9 months of learning by the end of June. The logical question is, what can the toy industry do to help close the education gap? I think parents, particularly of younger children, will be looking for supplemental materials, including toys, to get their children back on track. Another factor, which might be tied to getting 100% of schools open this fall as well, is vaccines in the arms of kids under the age of 16. Since the vaccine hasn't yet been approved for this age group, I think there will be some percentage of parents that will continue to hold back on sending their kids to school and not engaging in other types of entertainment, which will continue to fuel the toy industry. Which brings me to the final early indicator that we are watching: lifestyle trends. Without a vaccine for kids, some parents might hold back on the activities that could put their children at risk of contracting the virus, like travel, tourism, experiences, and entertainment. Until 100% of parents return to these activities, those parents will likely continue to spend more than usual on toys. But the rise in spending on these industries will be a leading indicator that toy sales will retreat sharply back to 2019 levels. Again, all of these signals could mean change for the toy industry, and we are tracking them. With that, thank you for your time today. If you'd like to speak to NPD about how to stay on top of these very important trends, please contact Elizabeth Storm or Eileen Brown. And now I'll turn it back to Adrian for the highly anticipated top toy trends for 2021.
Hi, I'm Adrienne Appel with the Toy Association. We're so excited to have you here at our annual Trends presentation. While we all know we'd rather be at the Javits Center in a room previewing the hottest toys of the year, we're really proud to be able to bring it to you virtually. The pandemic has not stopped the trend team. We've been out, had a ton of previews, and we've previewed hundreds of products. And these trends we're going to talk about reflect what's happening in the industry for 2021. Interestingly enough, this year, with the shift in the show, has brought a shift in the timing of the release and even sneak peeks of products. So while today's going to be very fun and very informative, you can stay tuned for mid-year for even more of those trends and sneak peeks of products. I'd like to have the trend team kick it off with the 2021 trends.
So this trend we're calling rediscovering play. And throughout the pandemic and throughout 2020, we saw a renewed interest in play for all ages. And families are really turning to play as a means for staying connected with each other, to help supplement their kids' learning, and to most importantly, simply find a little joy and have fun during this time of social distancing. And with that renewed interest, we think this is going to be something that parents and families really put an emphasis on as we move forward. They're going to see toys and games as a way to supplement their kids' learning well beyond this period of social distancing. So let's get started by taking a look at some toys that also kind of have cross-generational appeal. First up, I've got the Spirograph Animator set. This is from Play Monster. And what I love about it is it takes the really classic brand of Spirograph, and you use the same types of gears to create your design on it, but then you stick it in this really cool little animator, and when it spins around, it's going to light up and it's going to create these really unique 3D animation effects. So again, it's going to appeal to parents because it's got that Spirograph name to it, but it's also going to appeal to kids because of the cool new animation feature to it. Speaking of reinventions, Uno is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, and the Uno Remix card game is going to be coming out. This is obviously a go-to card game no matter what age you are. And it's really got that classic built-in fun that's super easy to do. This one kind of takes the idea of house rules and twists it up a little bit, kicks it up a notch, where you can create customizable cards within the game so that you can create house rules that are going to target certain people. So again, mixing up the gameplay, but again, a really classic reinvention of a classic. Speaking of classics, these are two classic brands that are coming together with this new line from Playmobil. So this is the Playmobil Volkswagen T1 camping bus. And what I like about it is it's got that nostalgic appeal for parents because it's got that official look to it. The detail is really recreates the original vehicle design. But for kids, it's got the play value built in that they love for Playmobil. And it also allows them to recreate and reimagine their own adventures of camping. Maybe they've been camping as a means to get outside during the pandemic with their families. So it's, again, got that togetherness aspect to these two brands. We're also seeing more families turn to activity toys throughout this time period that are allowing kids to engage in learning in a way that's fun. So this first one over here is the Butterfly Garden Homeschool Edition from Insect Lore. And what I like about it is this is a true STEM themed toy, but it's got that fun built into it. So parents and kids over the course of 3 weeks can watch as their butterflies go from caterpillars to butterflies. So really engaging in both the learning and the play. And then lastly, we have seen a lot of banana bread come out of the pandemic, but this is a way for families to get into the kitchen together. We're seeing kind of capitalizing on virtual cooking and baking classes and more family time in the kitchen. This is the Kids Magical Baking Set from Klutz. And this one takes real recipes and real ingredients, and parents and kids can bake together to create some really, really unique creations that range from, Yeti donuts to mermaid themed pies and more. So these are, again, just a few examples that are going to encourage families to come together and keep playing together in new ways throughout 2021 and beyond. It's no secret that toys and games are not just for kids, and this next trend really highlights that idea. This is what we're calling the not just for kids trend. And we're seeing more toy makers looking at this audience, this growing consumer base of adults that want toys and games that allow them to escape as well as tap into their inner child. These here are just a couple examples of that I've got with me. Let's get started by taking a look at the G.I. Joe classified 6-inch collection action figures from Hasbro. Now, the thing about this line, the G.I. Joe brand in general, is Hasbro is continuing to create new products under this brand that really appeal to a wide range of types of fans. That ranges from the hardcore fan to somebody that just might be more of an entry-level fan of the G.I. Joe franchise. These figures feature packaging that's been created by 20 plus different artists from around the world that also highlights where they're coming from. So again, kind of reinventing it a little bit and offering G.I. Joe fans a really unique experience. Queen's Gambit. Everybody watched it during the pandemic. It was a growing trend. We also saw a rise in chess sets in general. And this one appeals to both fans of chess and ones that are looking to get more into the chess game, as well as fans of the Star Trek franchise. So this is the original series Star Trek tri-dimensional chess set from the Noble Collection. They create these beautiful chess sets that also tap into different fan bases. This one's created based on the replica from the TV series. So again, it's got that play and display quality. Also really big and kind of growing amongst adults is podcast listening, as well as more specifically, murder podcast listening. So this one is a game that Goliath has created, an expanding game line. This is the Unsolved Case Files of Jamie Banks, and allows you to become a cold case detective, not just for podcasting, but also you can do it with this game and try to solve the murder of Jamie Banks, a fictional murder. They're going to be expanding the line throughout the year to offer new takes on these types of games. Maybe you're also looking to just zen out a little bit, too much work from home. So this one is called the Box Windmill Set. This is from Plus Plus. What I love about it is, again, it's got that play and display quality. So it's really could actually be a really beautiful piece of home decor, which is great for adults that are looking to not only fidget and build, but also offer something that they can display afterwards. You can even create it to act as a phone holder. So unique take on construction play that's going to appeal to adult consumers. And then lastly, we've got the Pong 4-player pub table set from Arcade 1UP. Now this, again, Arcade 1UP has created a lot of different arcade games that are going to have that nostalgic appeal to kids of the 80s and 90s that they're going to actually be able to bring these games into their homes and play with it that way. So this is just another unique take on that, a 4-player game, so you could play it with your pod during this time still of social distancing. And as you can see from these examples, these are games and toys that really allow adults to tap into their inner child, and that's going to be something that continues to grow throughout 2021.
So one of the biggest trends we're seeing this year is something we're calling mixing in music. And this trend is really being driven by those viral music and dance videos that we're seeing all over TikTok. We're also seeing new partnerships between the music industry and toy brands. Pokemon recently announced a partnership with Katy Perry to celebrate their 25th anniversary this year. More announcements like that are going to be rolling out over the next few months. And we're also really just seeing an explosion of music-themed toys in general, whether it be classic music toys that are teaching kids how to play, to STEAM toys that are getting kids to use engineering and technology to build their own instruments, collectibles with fun musical components. Really, the list goes on and on and on. I have a few examples that I'm going to walk you through right now. So to start, I've got the DJ Mix and Spin Studio from Hape. This is coming out in fall, so what I have here is a prototype. This is for kids as young as 1. It introduces them to the basics of music, and then there are also some really fun DJ elements here. You've got your slider to change the tempo of the music. You've got this here to do your scratch effects. A lot of fun for little ones who are just getting into music. Then I've got Lego Video. So this is super cool, brand new for Lego, really innovative. Lego Video is essentially a partnership between Universal Music Group and Lego that is bringing young creatives access to the hottest tracks so that they can make their own music videos using augmented reality. So essentially they're getting these beat boxes. They're all different themes. The one I have here is the Candy Mermaid one. They've got their character, they've got beat bits. They scan it into the app. They bring their music video to life. There are tons of beat bits that they can also collect to add into the app. They're going to add special effects to their videos, from glitter rain to costume changes, dance moves. So much fun, really great classic Lego play that also gets kids really creative and into music. Next, I've got the chibis from Wow Stuff. So chibis are flashed to the beat of whatever music is playing in the room, and they will also synchronize with one another, which adds to the fun. There are 10 to collect. They come in this really cute peel to reveal foil packaging. There's accessories inside. Just a really fun, unique twist on the collectible. Here I've got the Smartivity music machine from Ellen Co. So this is essentially a STEAM toy that has kids building their own mechanical working xylophone and then using it to play music. So it's teaching them all about the mechanics behind music creation, how different notes come together to form tunes. There's a great open-ended aspect in that kids can really compose their own music by simply moving the pegs into different slots on the barrel, cranking it and letting it go. So last but not least, we have Rhyme Antics, which was designed to really combat the growing literacy crisis and get older kids and teens excited about reading again. So this is a really fun, fast-paced vocabulary game inspired by hip hop. You download the app, you get your beat, and then you engage in a rap battle, passing the mic back and forth with your opponents. What's great about this is that it offers a lesson in vocabulary. It's so much fun. You can play it from parties to family game night. Educators can use it in the classroom. Another unique thing about this game too is that it recently made Black history by being the first Black-owned game to be sold in big box stores. So these are just a few examples of the many mixing in music toys that we are going to be seeing this year. So a big trend we're seeing for this year is something we're calling sensational toys. And we're really finding that toys aren't just for fun, they're actually offering up a really healthy dose of emotional support and well-being in times of uncertainty and stress. According to the Toy Association's Genius of Play initiative, families surveyed across the nation actually said that playing together was the best way to help their kids process their emotions. So we're really seeing a wide array of toys that help kids develop their social emotional learning skills, help them practice mindfulness and self-care, and even those fidget style toys that offer a moment of zen. What's interesting about that is that those fidget toys really fell under the impulse purchases that suffered in 2020 with fewer families heading out to shop in stores. So we're really looking forward to seeing renewed interest in fidget toys for 2021. So I'll just walk you through a few examples of sensational toys. First, I've got the Upside Delivered, which is a subscription box that helps kids navigate stress and whatever emotions they're feeling. There's a guide inside for parents to teach them important lessons. In the Begin box, which I have here, they're teaching their kids that their thoughts actually control their feelings. And then there's tools inside the box that they can use to practice mindfulness, to calm down, to de-stress. These flow rings are amazing. I love them. We've got bubbles in here to practice deep breathing. The Buddha board, which kids are going to use to draw or write whatever is bothering them and then watch it disappear. I actually did that with my daughter. She loved it. So these subscription boxes are really great for all ages and just great for the whole family. Next, I've got the sensory bin from Creativity for Kids. So these sensory bins are self-contained, tactile, hands-on play experiences for kids ages 3 and up. They're going to be practicing mindfulness. They're going to be engaging in really calm, independent play. I love sensory bins for that reason. They've got all kinds of different objects in here, different textures. They can scoop, they can sort. The bin I have here is outer space themed. It comes in a whole bunch of different themes. And what I really love, especially as a parent, is that it comes in its own storage container. So really easy for cleanup and to store away when playtime is over. So next I've got the Mindful Maze set from Hand to Mind. So these are guided breathing activities for little kids and comes with 3 boards. They're double-sided, so you've got your beginner breathing techniques on one side, the more advanced techniques on the other. What kids are doing is they are tracing their fingers through the maze and they're using the tactile prompts to guide them through their breathing. So they're inhaling, pausing, exhaling, and going around the board in that way. Great to do together with your kids. Also great for when they've mastered the techniques and they can do them on their own. They can incorporate some of that nice breathing and mindfulness and kind of focusing themselves throughout the day. So this is the Big Feelings Pineapple from Learning Resources. So this is a double-sided pineapple. You can create different expressions on either side. Great for kids to talk about how they're feeling, talk about their day, storytelling. They can practice empathy. So it's just a really fun way for kids to express themselves. Finally, the Yo Ring. So Yo Ring is a part fidget toy and part active toy that glides and bounces and soars through the air. It's a silicone disc that's really easy to catch on one finger and throw. You can play it alone, you can play it in a group. It's just a really good example of that fidget style toy that really offers a moment of escape and a moment of zen throughout the day that we're expecting to see a lot of this year. So these are just a few examples of the many sensational toys that will be rolling out now through the holiday season.
So from the Black Lives Matters movement to combating global change, families are looking for better ways to become better global citizens. As a result, toy makers have responded with a wide variety of toys that promote social diversity and cultural awareness, teach sustainability, promote the protection of the species as well as our resources, and recognize society's essential workers. We're also seeing lots of minority-owned businesses and retailers that want to work with these businesses as well as stock up on products that are sustainable and teach kids to be the better global citizens they can be. So here are a few examples. First, we start with the Crayola Colors of the World, a new marker set. So this is new for their Colors of the World line. And each marker represents the different colors that skin colors in the world. So kids that are learning to draw themselves, or draw their family, are going to really enjoy these and are going to learn about the differences that we have in our world. Then we have Emma the Whale. She is the newest member of the Shore Buddies family. And the Shore Buddies mission is to teach kids about the oceans, saving them, and protecting the species that belong to them. So they are made of 100% recycled material, but they also have a very big educational component for protecting the environment. Then we have from Adventera Games, they have 5 new puzzles. And these are a couple of them. They're designed for younger kids. And this is actually one of my favorites. This is Saving Water. Very simple puzzle. You have 2 pieces, 12 different puzzles with 2 pieces. They all represent ocean animals. One is doing something that actually wastes water. And then the other one shows the correct behavior to preserve water. So a great way to teach kids as young as 2 about saving the planet and doing the right thing. And then from Basic Fun, we have the Cutitos Taste Paditos. This is their wave 2, so it's a new product for this year. And the premise of the Cutitos is love your differences. So they come as a pair. They're like best friends, friends forever. But they both come wrapped in their own little blankets, and they're very different from each other. Yet they're BFFs. And if you take their blankets and put them together, it creates a heart that you can wrap them in. So it's all about embracing your differences, loving them for what they are, and being friends despite it all. Then from Aurora World, we have Eco Nation. This is their 100% recycled line. So everything from the plush, the tag, the fabrics, the embroidered eyes, everything is recycled, made out of recycled material. And even the components for product displays in stores are also made from recycled material. So it is a great way to teach kids about endangered species, preserving the environment, and also for retailers who want to promote that message. And last but not least is Twee's new sidewalk chalk. Twee is a female-owned company. All their products are eco-friendly, but what's great about their new Sliders and Fries product is that it supports GLSEN, which is a national organization that promotes safe K-12 communities for kids to respect their sexual identity, their orientation, or their gender, no matter what. So these are just some of the socially conscious products that we'll see in 2021. So keep your eyes open for many more to come. So over the last few years, we have seen a slow increase in licensed toys coming from nonlinear platforms such as YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, and social media. But as a result of the pandemic, quarantine families have relied on these platforms for much of their entertainment content, thus creating a lot of opportunities for much lesser known IPs and accelerating this trend. Toy makers have responded by creating a wide range of toy lines representing these IPs, and we fully expect this trend to continue in 2021. So here are some examples. First up, we have Raya from Raya and the Last Dragon, and this is the new Disney animated movie that in true pandemic fashion is going to be released in theaters at the same time as it will be released through the streaming service. So kids that watch the movie, enjoy it, are gonna love playing with Raya, are gonna love playing with Tuk Tuk, her faithful steed, and replaying all the scenes from the movie. Then from Playmate Toys, we have the Billie Eilish Live in LA fashion doll. And this is one of 2 new Billie Eilish dolls. And it's a great way of combining the traditional doll play pattern with a super popular musical and pop culture icon. So fans of Billie Eilish will love to collect the doll, and those kids that just like playing with dolls will enjoy it too. Then from Funko, we have their new collectibles pop line for WandaVision. Now, this series just released this last month through Disney Plus streaming service. So fans of the Marvel character and the new series are going to want to collect all 5. And, you know, collectibles are a natural embodiment for licensed toys. So not just Wanda, but there will be many collectible toys out there representing these licenses that both kids and adults will love to have. From the What Do You Meme series, we have their new game, is the TikTok edition. I think most of us are familiar with the What Do You Meme games. And this one is directly tied to the social platform, which has provided lots of comic relief and family fun during this pandemic. So I think any kid and adult that love TikTok and also love family game night are really going to enjoy this game. And then last, but certainly not least, is the Love Diana adventure set from Just Play. And this is the physical embodiment of that super popular YouTube channel where Diana and her brother like to take kids to the land of play pretend. So any kids following along can then use the toys to continue those adventures, or then simply go offline and also create their own adventures there as well. So again, these are just some of the new licensed toys that are coming out this year. Entertainment will be an interesting year in 2021 as well, but there will be no shortage of toys for kids out there.
I just want to thank everybody for viewing this Toy Trends presentation. We hope you had as much fun watching as we did putting it together. And we wanted to remind everybody to please stay in touch with the Toy Trends team. Tell us about your products, send us your press releases. We have contact information for you, and keep us posted, and look forward to doing a mid-year toy presentation.